It's finally warmed up and dried up. We hadn't had rain in 2 or 3 days now. Uh, those last boards, I have them scattered all over the place, just like this. Uh, I generally lay them out, especially when they, like the other day when they were so wet. I lay them out, let them dry on that side, brush them off real good, flip them over, and brush them off on the other side. It might be next week or it might be next year before I use them. So I generally try to get as much sawdust off of them as I can, because that sawdust can kind of hurt you. I'm cleaning up my slab pile finally today. Those darn things are like fire ants. You never get to the bottom of them. They're just more and more and more. But if you don't kind of keep up with them, they'll, you'll end up with a nightmare. It'll be just miserable. And those little bit bigger boards there, you can see them. There's 4x6, 4x4, 4x no telling what. It's just whatever's left over. I'll show you what I do with those. I have a purpose for those. They're being used while they're being stored, and so I'm using something at the same time I might need it later, and all I have to do is just go get it. I'll show you later about that. My sawmill will crank up. Whenever I'm doing sawing those things like that, I'm always going to be using safety glasses, either the clear ones. Clear ones are better for me if my eyes aren't as good as they used to be. But today all I got is the cool looking ones. And then also I always use, I can't say always, but most of the time I use earmuffs like everybody else. I prefer the pink ones. That makes me look real cool. I already got a load, but that'll make the end of it. If you don't stay up with that, you'll end up causing you a lot of grief. That a lot of times, especially if you watch a lot of videos, take these things off where I can hear myself. You'll see those logs when you go to cut through it. If a lot of times they'll be in a bind and they'll spring up. I mean, I've had them spring up. You just wouldn't believe how much it'll lift up. But this was cut 2 or 3 days ago, and it just, you could see the blade. All it did was just scrape the top of that sawdust right off the thing, off the log. So that one, and that's because that was a tall, straight pine tree. It wasn't under any stress or nothing, and so it didn't. It's just as flat as it was 2 or 3 days ago, which sometimes that's kind of uncommon. I really need to clean this thing up. It looks kind of like me. But today's a good day to grease everything, put the oil in there. See, some of that sawdust still gets there a little bit, but I just fill both of those things up with oil, and grease it, and that'll then I'll be ready to go. And if you notice my blade, I have that on there because the blade is loose.